Credit cards can help us get all the best experiences in life. At least, every bank commercial makes it look like that. But what's not mentioned in the credit card ads is debt. And the debt, it's only growing. Today, an average US family owes over $150,000, while all bankers, businessmen, and investors say that using credit cards is a must.
I don't own a debit card. I've never owned one. I've never allowed my 3 sons to possess one.
In this episode, you will see the dark side of credit cards and learn how to not only receive the benefits of using credit cards, but also do it without falling into debt. Whether at a grocery store, restaurant, coffee shop, airport, car dealership, or even simply at home, credit cards are everywhere. And no wonder. They promise to help you get a much needed vacation, refurbish your home, see your favorite artist live, or try that restaurant that you've never been to. And on top of that, you get rewards, miles, bonus points, and cash back. They even want you to make you feel like a hero.
Quicksilver makes you the hero of every purchase.
Now, credit cards seem like they've been around forever. Did you know that there are 200 million people who have credit cards? And this is just in the US alone. And according to the Experian Consumer Credit Review, an average American has around 4 credit cards. So roughly speaking, there are almost 1 billion credit cards in use in the US. But how did it all start? The first credit card prototype appeared in the 1800s as credit coins and charge plates, mainly used by farmers to buy things and pay later with their crops. In 1914, Western Union introduced metal plates to let customers pay with credit. And yes, I'm talking about the same Western Union we know today. But the general public didn't have access to the service. Only particular customers could use these metal plates for a few specific transactions. But it was still only a prototype. The first credit card, similar to what we have now today, emerged in 1950. Its story begins in no other place than a restaurant. A businessman, Frank McNamara, had dinner at a New York restaurant and forgot his wallet. That time, his wife came to pay the bill. But after, he decided to save himself and others from potential embarrassment and created a Diners Club card together with Rolf Schneider. McNamara and Schneider found 27 partner restaurants and invited their friends and family to participate. The idea of showing a card and paying at the end of the month got so popular that in just 1 year, the Diners Club reached 42,000 members. These cards were made out of cardboard, and technically they were charge cards, as there was no interest on spending. The members had to only pay an annual fee of $3, while restaurants pay 7% on transactions. In 1959, American Express issued the first plastic credit card, and shortly after, Bank of America launched its general-purpose Bank AmeriCard.
Bank AmeriCard. It's money in a more versatile form.
Bank of America sent their newly emerged cards to thousands of Americans. There was only one issue though. Credit cards had no magnetic stripes or chips, which made fraud ridiculously easy. That's why Bank of America lost millions of dollars back in the day, but in exchange, they gained a massive customer database. In the late 60s, credit card issuers realized they had to come up with some fraud protection. Forrest Perry, an IBM engineer, tried different ways to attach magnetic stripes to a credit card, but nothing worked. Frustrated, Perry took a day off and told his wife about the challenge he encountered. She suggested ironing the stripe onto the card. And funny enough, this method worked. By 1969, magnetic stripes became a US standard and an international standard 2 years later. The idea of a credit card got so popular that Bank of America started licensing it to other banks across the US. In the 1970s, major credit card brands appeared. Bank AmeriCard became Visa, and a cooperative of Northeastern banks changed its name to MasterCard. Credit card popularity also brought regulations. the first directives appeared in the 70s. All of them mainly protected customer personal data and avoided discrimination. Over the next decades, several tech advancements took place. In 1996, the integration of smart chips began. This technology was much safer compared to a magnetic stripe that could be easily copied onto fake credit cards. In 2010, the first contactless payment cards appeared, and only 4 years later, Apple Pay launched, Android to follow, and integrated Google Pay in 2015. The whole credit card history seems bright, but the truth is that since Diner Club card came to light in 1950, several things happened behind the scene. What is a credit card to you? Probably a payment method, but for someone else, it's business, and believe it or not, a profitable one. According to the Nielsen report, the 3 biggest US credit card companies by purchase volume are JP Chase, American Express, and Citibank. Just these 3 companies generate over $1.5 trillion in transactions yearly. And there's more to this. As you can see in the graph, Costco, FedEx, PepsiCo, Nike, and McDonald's had lower gross profits than American Express, JP Chase, and Citibank. Crazy, isn't it? And this is the thing with banks. They don't produce anything really, yet their revenues are higher than most other global corporations. How do they make money then? The answer is with interest and fees. And the more you spend, the more money they get. So if the banks are so interested in increasing their customer spending, are they just sitting around and doing nothing? Well, not quite. To understand how the whole system works, we should mention someone like Andrew Carr, a credit card industry consultant. Part of his job is to advise banks on how to be more profitable. In the 1970s, the minimum credit card payment was 5% for most card issuers. Now, you're getting mostly charged 1% only. And Andrew Carr was the person who initiated the shift. In an interview with PBS Frontline, he explained what was behind the idea. Having a lower minimum payment allows you to offer higher credit lines. This makes your card product more attractive to people. Even if they don't intend to use the whole line, they will rather have a higher one. And for the banks, the high balance account will be much more profitable than the ones with the low balance. A lower minimum payment has various downsides. The title of the Schwartz article summarizes the whole idea. Credit card minimums, perfectly calibrated to keep you in debt. Why so? Well, first of all, if you only make a minimum payment, you need more time to repay your debt. Currently, it takes around 30 years to repay $10,000 at the slowest pace. Secondly, in most cases, having a larger outstanding balance makes your interest higher. That is why in our channel, we always say that it is better to pay more than the minimum amount required by your credit cards. Of course, there are credit card options where you get 0% interest for a set period. However, you should always double check your agreement, as all of the benefits can vanish when you don't make any payments. Another issue with a smaller minimum payment is that it makes your debt seem more affordable. But it isn't like that. If you owe over half of your income, there's almost no way you could pay it off within 5 years. For those looking to learn how to optimize their credit and get the highest score possible, I invite you to check out this video, but after you're done with this one, of course. A FICO score is crucial. A drop in your score can lead to higher credit card interest rates. And the truth is that your agreement rarely protects you from rate increases. Generally, credit card companies can't raise your interest rates during the first year of your account. After that, the legal requirement is to provide 45 days of notice before introducing any changes. But of course, there can always be some exceptions. Consumer data is gold for any credit card issuer. There are 3 big nationwide providers of consumer reports: Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. Their reports include information about payment history, your available credit line, how much you have used, as well as other types of data. All these reported activities make up your FICO credit score. Basically, this is a mechanism to define who is a revolver that doesn't pay the bills off and who is a deadbeat that carries a balance from month to month. There are also those who are responsible and pay all their debts on time. These last ones aren't the best clients for credit card companies because they bring less profit, taking away from the banks the opportunity to capitalize on those debts through fees and/or interest. The credit card scoring system varies, but it is generally broken down in the following ranges. 800 to 850, consider excellent. 740 to 799, very good. 670 to 739, good. 580 to 669, fair, and 370 to 579 are considered poor. Watching out for your FICO score is one thing. You also need to watch out for credit card fees because there aren't that many regulations to protect you from paying too much. Late fees, card processing fees, swipe fees, annual fees, application fees, over limit fees. This list goes on and on. You can easily get lost in this fee land. And while it is a great additional income stream for the banks, it is a real issue for us and you, the customer. While some agreements make it look like fees aren't high and the interest rates are good, the numbers show quite the opposite. From 2018 to 2020, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB, estimates that Americans pay roughly $120 billion per year in credit card interest and fees. Currently, consumers tend to spend more because of 0% interest rates, lower minimum payments, and all of the cashbacks, miles, and points offered by credit card companies. However, we have to be conscious about the growing debt and the fact that interest rates can easily go up. This situation can lead to dramatic consequences. One of them is bankruptcy. It might seem uncommon to you, but in 2022 alone, there were over 370,000 cases of personal bankruptcy filed nationwide in the United States. That is why, once again, I want to remind you to try to pay more than the minimum amount whenever you can, even if the debt is at a 0%. That will allow you to reduce your credit card debt faster. That will save you also from any nasty surprises in the future. Lawyers highlight that the primary triggers of bankruptcy filing are job loss, divorce, medical problems, and other emergencies. Without that, most American families can manage their debt. Many refer to the credit card business as an anti-consumer market, but that doesn't mean that you have to fall for the bank scheme. That's why you're educating yourself with channels like NOVARISE to be one step ahead of the banks and beat them at their own game. You can use your credit cards without paying interest and enjoy an excellent FICO score while using them. And these videos will teach you how. See you in the next video.